They just want you to sit in your chair and go hip hip hooray for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old every single day without question. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hi everyone. I didn't realise that England were playing tonight, and I don't support England. Not against them, like, I just don't support them. It's like anyone else, you know, like in the Premiership. I don't support them, I only support Liverpool, and that's about it. So I think everyone will be in and out watching the game. You know, they'd be coming on and going, hey Frank, just, you know, say hello and then just disappear. So what I tend to do tonight is to talk about anything. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm not talking about England. And really I want to talk about the football show, about Liverpool, when they all come back from international duty. So that's what I'll be talking about on Thursday, I think. Unless I have the paranormal fella. So I won't be talking football this week until the watch along at the weekend. You know, pre-match, post-match, the match in the middle of it, shouting at the telly and whatever. So that's what I'll be doing. So if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. Myra, hiya Myra. Didn't even know she was here. Changed my glasses as per. Right, Myra. I Frank and Fred and say everything's little to me now. I don't know why. Can anybody hear me? Let me know right away what the sound's like. I forgot to say that as soon as we started. Let me know right away, please. Can you hear me or can't you hear me? Because if you can't hear me, I'm not going to carry on. I'll just leave it and wait till tomorrow night. And if that doesn't work, I'll leave that as well. I've got to get this fixed. I really have. I'm not going on. I can't be doing this every night, every time I'm on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's really annoying. So let me know if you can hear me. Please. Thank you. See, Edward says, look, I can hear you, but a bit low, and it's wrong. I can't shout. I really can't shout. I'm not going to shout. See, look, I can't hear you, says the ambidextrous. Right, I'm going to say, it's getting on my nerves, honestly, it's really... Right, is this any better? Is this any better? Please let me know immediately, because if not, I'm just going to switch it off. This is absolutely ridiculous, this. Until it's fixed, I won't be doing any shows. None of them whatsoever. I won't even do a watch along. So I really need to know if this is if the sounds any better when I brought this in. Fantastic, Franco, perfecto. My old mates, I can hear you. Stay, another old mate there, look. That's better, Frank. Ambidextrous, yes. John Rooney. Hey, John. Thumbs up. Callum, way better. Thank you. Thank you so much, boys and girls. Wow, that's a great sound, says Toscana. Yeah, it's louder, says Edward. See, you get... This is Steve Evans, up the fucking Reds. Oh, Bella. Buonasera, Franco, and chat, hope you're all well. Franco, I can hear you well. Grazie. Grazie, Bella. I like this comment. Toscana goods win, but them lots shouldn't be in the competition. They shouldn't. They shouldn't, Callum. It's wrong. It's wrong. And, you know, they're even in the Champions League. They're not even in Europe. I've been saying it for years. What are they doing here? Why are they in the Champions League? Why are they in the Champions League? They're not even in Europe. You might as well pick a team from Nigeria or somewhere. Or America. Just sent a message. Fuck. He's honourable to me, especially Stay Evans. Wish I couldn't, Dopsy. Can you hear me? Wish I couldn't, Dopsy. Mr. Evans. When you moved the mic, it was okay, but it didn't last. Sound down again. Are you sure? You sure? I don't know. I don't know. I might just finish this pod. Frank Garnett loves a moan. Frank Garnett. No, it's fine. See what I mean? I really can't, you know. Everything I said, it's been great. how long have I been doing this? And it's been great, and all of a sudden it's just gone nuts. Someone's put a curse on me, I think. Definitely. Scousket. Scarsket. Toscana says, sounds okay to me. On the TV and on my phone. You got me twice. And Callum, it's definitely fine, mate. And even my old mate, Steve Evans. It's definitely fine. Don't worry. Thank you. Thank you. So listen, what you want to talk about, just let me know. I'm not talking about England. You know, people have said, I've always supported the Azzurri, Italy. I've always supported them. If our kids were sitting here right now with me, he'd tell you. And he's an England supporter. England. An England supporter. And he'd tell you, no, our Francis has always supported Italy. Know what I mean? But that's me. And, you know, I look at it again. It's like the establishment. I'm totally against the establishment, to be honest, for what they've done and the cover up and everything else. Lovely Bella says, Franco, stop worrying. The sound it's great. The sound is great. Thank you. Thank you, Bella. England gets smashed. England gets smashed. Lynn Ellis, even a Frank. And Callum says, ref and VAR for Sunday is literally the meaning of hell. Do you know what? I was watching there something today, you know, about the mistakes of VAR and refs. And two of the main culprits was that Hooper fella. Horrible him. Hooper. And Michael Oliver. And Liverpool were involved in a few of them. Don't know if anyone has ever seen it. And Agatha says, Michael doesn't believe me when I told her that there's not one Scouser who hasn't had a chip butty. Absolutely. Everyone. Everyone. Even when we were kids and the chips were brought in, you put it on a butty. Put it on a butty. And as our Steve says there, fucking hell is this thing? Right. He says, corrupt officials Sunday becoming the standard now. Well, I really believe that they should send for referees from the continent, from Europe. And there'd be no corruption. I always remember one of the great, excuse me, this is nuts this. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where my little hanky's gone. There it is. One of the great, Chiellini, the Italian, he was unbelievable. You know, the baldy fella, he was brilliant, him. But I've got, there are three refs who I think are absolutely first class. One is the Dutch fella, Michelson, is it? Forget his name. I think it's Michelson or something like that. And the other fella is a German called Brich. Really good refs, no nonsense refs. Know what I mean? Dead straight. If you foul, you foul. Ends all. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If it's not a penalty, it's not a penalty. See what I mean? Brich and it sounds like Michelson, something like that. From Holland, Dutch, and Brich's a German, and another fella named Cash, sounded like Kakish, something like that, and he's a Turk. He's very good. And they should have them over here. Not just them, you know, others as well. No missing. What have you been saying now? And as it says, Michael J. Chip Balm from the Chippy. Yeah, you can get them, can't you? Michael Oliver and Paul, why are they refereeing on VAR? Who's refereeing, Callum? Is it Oliver or Tierney? Neither of them are bad. And do you know what? I used to think Michael Oliver was the best ref in the Premiership. God blimey, he's awful. Woeful. Beans on toast as well. Everybody's had beans on toast, Edward. Everybody in the world. Well, here anyway. In Liverpool. Where is Shakhtar Donetsk based? Because Donetsk is part of Russia now, it is. Yes, Stephen. It was in the Donbass area. Hence Donetsk. It's part of Russia now. Because they were being bombed, shelled, genocide going on from 2014 onwards until the SMO went in and liberated Donetsk, the Donbass area, the Donbass Oblast. So it is now, you're right, part of Russia. And Callum says, I think it's Ukraine. It was, as I said, I've just mentioned it, Callum. It's part of now. It's part now of Russia. It's in the Russian Federation. They had a, you know, what people tend to forget is that they had a referendum all over these oblasts. They just said, where do you want, and it was legally binding, by the way, you know, they had observers in from everywhere, and it was all legal. And the vast majority of every oblast, including Crimea, by the way, said Russia. Yeah, where do you want to be? Russia, Ukraine. That was it. Michael Oliver's the ref, thank Callum. Don't know how to take that, you know. Should have said, try and watch that thing, the worst VAR and ref's decisions on YouTube. And do you ever remember the penalty incident against Everton? Who was it who didn't give it? Forget who never gave it. And it was blatant. And that cost Liverpool the league. People don't realise that. That cost Liverpool the league. Could have won that 2 points. If they would have scored the penalty, that is. But it wasn't to be. king. I, Frank and everyone can't stand these international breaks. Neither can I, king. Neither can I, mate. Edward says, Isak came on an assist for Sweden. Very good. Came on as a sub. That's it, Bella. Pierluigi Collini. I think he was the fairest. He was great. Pierluigi Collini. So you remember him, eh? He's up at that, Bella. Didn't like what Canate said, saying Mbappe phones him every 2 hours while laughing. To be honest, Edward, I think it was like he was asked a stupid question. But don't get me wrong, I'll say this, but this is just my opinion, right? Okay. You know, he was asked a stupid question. You know, has anyone been in touch with you? You know, about has Mbappe been talking about Real Madrid and you going there? And he just said, yeah, he's been phoning me up every 2 hours. I'd say a thing like that. I'd say, I've said, like, yeah, every day. Myself on some certain things, you know, when people, oh yeah, every single day, mate. I've said it on certain things that I've been asked. Stupid things. But having said that again, Edward, he's going. He's definitely going. Because everything's been put on the table for him and he's ignored it. And that means, you know what it means, don't you? Someone's been down his ear. And I'm not saying who. You've got to come up with that yourselves. Someone's been. And Brian says, which Muppets do we have on the Sunstay? We don't mention the sun here, mate. Honestly. Honestly. Don't even mention it. Don't say the word. I had something and I'm dead thirsty. You know when you... Sorry. And I knew I'd be thirsty afterwards. Oh, and I'm feeling it, to be honest. I'll be feeling it. So I think we should sell him. I think, can I say that is? In the January and get that guy here up. Just get him up here. To say, come on lad. Just offer them what he needs. That's all. Just get him here. Remember when I was talking to our Francine today, and we were talking about the, you know, Canate and what we should do and whatever. And she agreed. She said, just get rid of him in January, Dad. And bring Guy here in. I said, yeah. I said, yeah. That's what we should do. Simply because we can't be doing what we did with Trent. I'd like him to stay, I'm being honest, I like him to stay, I'd like him to stay. But then again, remember when I said getting Cappy in? I said getting Cappy in. And this is last season. And the beginning of this summer. I said get him in. Because he can play two different roles, he can play left back and left-sided centre back. He would have been ideal though. But what we've got, if Gahey doesn't come, we've got Joe Gomez, and I know that you're going to say, but he's always injury prone. I know that, but he's reliable. What I mean, like when he's fit, he's reliable. No matter where he plays across the back line. No matter where. And we've got young Giovanni Leone, haven't we now? You know, we brought him in, and that lad looks great, honestly. Albeit that he's young. Albeit that he's young. I'm going to just mention my sponsors, if you don't mind. And it's Gap Painting Services. Please get these in. Don't struggle. If you're an NHS worker and you're coming home from work and you're struggling trying to decorate your place, don't get these in. You get a special discount. And the same goes for the elderly. Just get them in. You don't struggle bending down and climbing chairs and ladders and everything trying to paint and wallpaper. Get them in. You get a special discount. These lads are fully time served, fully insured. They leave your house sparkling the way you wanted it. Just get them in. And if you don't fit into those categories, as I keep saying, they're very, very reasonable. Don't struggle. Please don't struggle. Just get them in. And sod the cowboys off. And they're dead reasonable, by the way. They're very reasonable. Just get them in to give you the price and they go, wow. That's what you'll say. Go, wow. Okay. Do it. I know that for a fact. So that's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of all these. Talking about Muppets, I seen a fella getting arrested. I was watching something, you know, and the police came around to him because he was filming and he took his camera off him and he said, what are you doing? He said, you're being arrested. What for? What have I done? He said, I've done nothing. And he said, one of the coppers said, you called someone a Muppet, and she was very distressed. Did you hear me correctly there? You called someone a Muppet, and she was very distressed. And they got arrested. The fella got arrested. This is how bad it's going. There's Jason. Sounds as loud and clear, mate. Facebook working too. So he's been on them. Sad, yeah. So everything's okay now. Thank God. Thank God. But my nose is still itchy, unfortunately. So don't go around calling anyone a Muppet because you'll be arrested. Yes, arrested. Evening, Frank and all on the chat. Hope you're well. I meant Sunday, Frank. Don't worry, I have never mentioned that bit. Oh, right. Stephen, yes. He's gone low on his George. Sell him and get Gary and says, Gary, get him in, whatever his name is, says Edward. He's had his head set. Of course he has. Of course he has. Ebu. Silly man. As our Francine said, she said, Trent is not doing so good. And she said, and even Rashford, he's gone to Barca. And Barca are willing to pay £4.5 million to send him back to Man United. Think about that. He could get booed like Trent if he stays till the end of the season. See, Trent, I think it's different, with him, to be honest, Edwards. Because Trent was homegrown, he'd been here since he was a kid, and he came out with all this. I want to be, captain of Liverpool one day, my boyhood team, I loved them, and kissing the badge and everything. And yet he was taking Spanish lessons, which was hypocritical. So I think this is totally different, because Ebu's French, know what I mean? So, and if they've come in for him, that's it. But I think we should just sell him, rather than wait till the end of the season and get nothing for him. And Brian says, think about 2 years. Gomez played about 15 games in a row and was probably one of the best in Europe. He was flawless, but yes, Frank, the injuries. Feel sorry for him, because he would have been Virgil's partner for sure. When he was playing alongside Virgil, he was saying this is a great partnership, if you remember. And you're spot on. But the injuries... And I feel sorry for him, because he just carries on, doesn't he? He just carries on. If he's called upon, he's called upon. The lad, he's our longest serving player, isn't he? His old Joe Gomez. And Edward says, it's the paranormal woman not coming back on. Kayla Smith. I've got the paranormal fella on. I think he's coming on Thursday. I'm not quite so sure. I'm sure he's coming on this Thursday. But the paranormal girl, I don't know whether she's been over here. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest, Edward. Dr. Benjamin, I know you do films. Have you an interest in a music pod as well, while internationals are on there? So boring, says Will Hay. I love that profile. Will Hay. One of the greatest of all comedians, Will Hay. Love his films. Yeah, we had a fella on. I used to have him on a Monday, and he used to come on once every few weeks. Derek Shelmadine, and he was the music man. He wrote a book like that, encyclopedia on us, that thick, that big, that thick. Every band was named. Every individual singer. Incredible. And we used to have him on. You've only got to look at the introduction of this show, and you see him, Derek Shelmadine, and he's talking about the Beatles. talking about the Beatles. I asked him to do the Small Faces once, or some of the things he was coming out with them. And I said, the next time you're on, will you do the Small Face, or will you, you know, other bands as well? And he spoke about them. Incredible. Derek. Rashford peaked early in his career and dipped. I always thought that he would have been a great player, but, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? And Toscana. You can't even say that you like bacon. No, that fella got arrested, didn't he? I like bacon, he was arrested. You see, what I'm against Toscana is you've got to understand the way it's spun is that Islam is a I don't know but Islam is a belief. It's not like anything. It's just a belief. That's what it is, a belief. And as people are looking at it, they're saying, whoa, hang on a minute. We've got our own beliefs. And this is why there's lots of problems about flags. It's just gone ridiculous. And when you have a lady, Mahmood, whatever her name is, Shabuba Mahmood, who's now Home Secretary. And I've been looking at things, what she's been saying in the past, and it's frightening. You see? It's frightening. There was I can't explain it on here because I could get banned. What I was listening to, this girl, this blonde girl, I think she's an author or something. And then there was another blonde girl in Parliament, and what she said about young girls, and what this fella said to her, from a certain belief. Shocked me. And I always listen to it today. I was only listening to it today. As you do when you're sitting on the chair doing nothing. Right, so Toscana says it. You can't even say you like bacon. We can't stop voicing our opinions like the England fans the other night. I'd have joined in if I'd watched the match. I was watching something about Albania, you know, Scouse, not English. And I don't know why they did it. And it was from 3 years ago. And it was that, I don't like that talk sport. I don't care what anyone says, they're against Liverpool for some reason. And they put a thing on from 3 years ago. And I was going through the comments, the hate shown against Liverpool. Shocking. Really shocking. You know, you'll have the usual bin zippers and things. You think that we live in slums? In your Liverpool slums. Yeah, we fucking do. Bella says, you're right, Toscana. I watch that video of that lad getting arrested at his home. Is that the bacon lad? Toscana. Madrid wants him, I'm afraid. That's the problem. Sorry, but I just don't see the fascination with Real Madrid. It's just a name, isn't it? Real. You've only got to ask the Catalonians or the Basques what they think of them. So, I always remember, I was at the game and I was in the alley road stand, you know, when we played Real, when we stuffed them 4-0. And Torres scored in the alley road end. And you see him, and he's running, he runs right towards the Madrid fans, and he turns his back and goes like that. And goes. That's how Real Madrid, honestly. Barca hate them, the Catalans, the Basques hate them. And you know what? There's a Basque lad. Now you can imagine Atletico Bilbao, for example, because they're from the Basque region. And we played them, didn't we, in a friendly. And you could imagine just the ordinary Basque fans, whoever they support up there, whether it's Athletic Bilbao, and what they think of Xabi Alonso, a Basque lad, managing Real. It was like when Figo left Barca to go to Real. They hated Figo after that. The Barca fans just hated them. Just hated him, sorry. And Callum, did you say Israel bombed Qatar? Now that they have, hang on, I don't think Hamas is in Qatar. I really don't. Hang on. Did you say Israel bombed Qatar? I never said that. Now Hamas bases are there, which I don't know what that is, OFC, but I think it's got a deeper meaning. It's a greater yeah, if you look at what they want, if you look at what Israel wants, and it's been going on since 1948, I'll show you what they want. Now don't forget, it's a little strip of land, a tiny strip of land, Israel, in 1948. And they set out in 1948 to make a greater Israel. Just bear with me on this. Please, for fuck's sake, it always does. Just bear with me, please, people. Fucking hell. Sorry. Sorry about that, yeah. I wonder if I can go like that. I can't do this, you know, for fuck's sake. Why does it do this? I wish I could make it bigger, I can't. Right, so this is what Israel want. Now don't forget, this was a little weeny strip of land in Palestine. And this is what they want. A greater Israel, which brings in Egypt, Iraq. There it is. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, mate. What a man. What a man. Look, they want parts of Iraq, Syria, they're already in Syria, Jordan, Egypt, and they're going right down. Even the Lebanon's there, the Lebanon, and it's horrible. It really is. Jordan, the one is all. And if you look at Nicosia, which is just to the left, it's Cyprus actually, and they're buying up Cyprus. The Israelis are buying up Cyprus. So what's that telling you? And it's right on the doorstep of Turkey. That's why Turkey in the last week has sent more troops to southern Turkey, because they invaded that in 1974 and no one done anything. We didn't even do anything, and that was a British thing, and we done nothing. Absolutely not. It's just like what's happening today in Hungary and Slovakia, because what Ukraine are doing, they're trying to blow up a pipeline that gives Hungary and Slovakia energy, and yet they are NATO and no, I don't think Slovakia is, but they belong to NATO, not the EU. And Hungary is a NATO and EU partnership. And the EU has done nothing about it, while Ukraine is neither NATO nor a member of the EU, and yet they're trying to bomb them. Think about it. Think about if Ukraine can go and bomb Spain, Portugal, here, Germany, Italy, anywhere, and no one will do anything. And Hungary, it's been proved, he won't do anything. So what do you think of that? Look at that. And that's going all the way to Saudi, parts of Kuwait as well, because Kuwait's there. You know, in the Persian Gulf, where my little base is, on the right, that's the Persian Gulf. It's going towards Qatar, which is Dubai, and United Arab Emirates, the AUA. That's what it is. That's what that's all about. Greater Israel, and he won't stop there. And this is why they want the Americans. As you know, they've been sending over missiles to Iran, and they want the Americans to go and bomb fuck out of Iran and get rid of Iran, because they want to go into Iran as well. Look at the size of Iran. It's massive. Massive it is. But Iran have got everything that's needed to defend themselves. I'll talk more about this on Friday. It's really bad, honestly. It really is, it's bad. The way it's going. And I just don't trust Trump. I really don't. Where am I? Dr. Benjamin says, who's your top 5 LFC players of all time, Frank? Tough question. See, I go back to Roger Hunt. I really do. And when you look at like some of them today, you can't leave out Mo Salah, for example, who's playing. You can't leave him out. It's impossible what he's done for Liverpool. Incredible player. And he's a winger. He's a winger. You've got to look at Steven Gerrard, what he did. When we had nothing, and he dragged us through everything. And Zinedine Zidane said he's the greatest midfielder of our generation. That's what he said. Zidane. He said, I would have loved him to have come to Madrid and played alongside him. Steven Gerrard. Who else do you pick? Do you pick Graham Souness? Jockey Janssen? Incredible players. Just incredible play. Terry McDermott. He scored the best goal. 1 and 2. I've put them in categories 1 and 2. The best goals I've ever seen a Liverpool player score. Know what I mean? Incredible. See, you know, Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez. Incredible. I seen him score a header from outside the 18-yard box against West Brom. Sitting in the stand. Get in. Main stand. Get in. Incredible header. It's very hard to pick though. Ian Callaghan. Look at all the... No one will ever beat us. I think he played over 800 games for Liverpool. Got booked once in his life. Booked once. Toscana to Bella. My relatives in Italy asked me if I lived in a communist country. I'm sick of it all. As I can't keep my mouth shut and will speak out. It's ridiculous, honestly. Toscana. Do you live in a communist country? But to be honest, I was... when I was I was working in Germany. I was working in, you know, like, I forget where it was. Was it Mainz? No. I forget where it was, but it was at a base. It was at a British base, and I was carrying on with the, you know, like the formal schooling of the squaddies kids, right? So I was teaching there. And anyway, I said, I'm going fucking back home, kids. I couldn't stand the fucking cold. The snow was up here. And I said, I'm going. So anyway, I packed it up. And I got a lift off these fellas, honest. Now, if you could imagine me, I had long hair, with a beard. My hair was a different colour then, if you know what I mean. I had a beard. and we got pulled at Venlo, a place called Venlo, Holland. We were going through to Venlo, the border, and all of a sudden we were surrounded by police, German police, big fellas, big 8-foot fellas, like that, with big machine guns. And they told us to get out. We were taken for the Baader-Meinhof gang. The Baader-Meinhof gang. And they just said, go on, go. They knew that we weren't just workers. Okay, now. Showed our passports, like, they had us in this little building. We had to show everything. They went through all our gear. I could write a book. Really. And Dr. Ben, I think some of the older players would be even better on these pitches today. Remember, they played on the snow with the orange, yeah, freezing. I always remember we played West Ham, and I always remember it was the power cuts, and we had to play at 11 o'clock or 11:30 in the morning, Saturday morning. And I'll never forget it. I was in the paddock, and we were looking up at the cop, and there was this fella being passed down. Passed down. Did anyone ever see that? You know, people, you know, and they passed them down to the pitch, you know, for the St. John's ambulance. This fella was stiff as a board, and the fella next to me went, he's fucking dead, him. He's frozen to death because he was stiff. Just passing down. It was not that funny. Just laughed, you know what I mean? Just laughed. Whether he was dead or not, I don't know. But you're right there, Dr. Bench. The orange ball. And if you remember the colour of the lines? They were blue. Blue colour. Couldn't put them white, could they? Callum said, apparently Hamas released a statement and said some members were killed. Where in Qatar? I didn't know that, Callum. Honestly, mate, I didn't know that. And Brian, Frank, I've been getting it in work the last 2 years or so regarding the booing. I've told them everything you learned, May, from Churchill to Thatcher, and the non-attendance of the 97 funerals, and they were still trying to blame us. Close. I was watching these things from 3 years ago, fucking horrible. And they were blaming us. I'm in a video, in a documentary where I'm saying, and they still blame us today. Up and down the country. They still blame us. It's our fault. And they blame us for Heysel. I was at Heysel. They blame us for that. It was shocking what happened. But they blame us. You know, they don't see, you know, this Juve supporter with a thing around his face, coming out with a gun. They never fucking say that, do they? They never see that big banner. Rosso Animali. Rosso Animali. And the fella next to me said, well, what does that mean? What's that? A massive banner right across. I said, red animals. And he was sending over the bottles and the flares and everything. It was the Italian side, those lads. And the police, I blame the police for that as well. Because the police were separating the fans, the stand, wire mesh, keeping one side from the other. And they were all in the middle. And I said, these are fucking moving, these are coming down. Because they were arguing. And it was just horrendous. And we got the blame for that. On this social fucking network, this horrible TalkSport thing from 3 years ago. So they were still keeping it up. Because they brought up Scouse not English. Oh, why'd you have that bad Scouse not English? And you're English, you know, and all this. He said, no, we're Scousers. That's what we are. But you're English, what's your passport? He said, it's British, not English, British. I've got a British passport. He said, where do you think Britain? He said, we're Scotland and Ireland and Wales. Shocking, you know, these two fucking pricks on their TalkSport. But the lads had to go. The lads had to go. The phone in. Then the comments. Oh, shocking. Always the victim. You know the famous, always the victim. And the king said, I have bacon with me tea tonight. I had one this morning in my Ninja air fryer. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all, because every morning I'm having a crisp butty. Crisp butty. Toscana to Bella. I had a visit from the police 3 years ago because of a confidential comment I'd made to the charity Mind, and they took it seriously because I'm Italian. I took it as a compliment. Yes. Yes, Toscana. Yes, like that. And Callum says, can't lie, bacon's rancid and greasy and not healthy at all, so I don't eat it, be like. Well, I do it all crispy, so you can crunch it. So all the fat's gone. But I've gone off bacon, to be honest, especially after today. I said, oh, fuck this. Stick to me crisp butty. But do you know what it's doing? They're cutting me, you know, me roof of my mouth. And my little tongue. My little tongue's like sore. The tip of it. And a couple of sides of it as well. You know, it's scraping it. Bella said, go for you, the king. It was nice. Tosca, will I get arrested if I say I love prosciutto? Yeah. That's what we could all say. We love prosciutto. Prosciutto. Madness, isn't it? More than lately, the way things are, Tosca, by saying, you know, will I get arrested if I say prosciutto, which means ham. Bacon. CJ, But I mean, look at that here, Frank. Everything's CJ. Everything, mate. Everything's going on. We've had about who's the top five players at Liverpool, things. Who's the referee on VAR on duty against Burnley, and it's Tierney on VAR, and the other fella, Michael Oliver, refereeing. The King, very nice belly, on burger too. And we can't say bacon. A fella got arrested for calling someone a muppet. He really got arrested for calling someone a muppet because the police said that there's about 5 police around him arresting him. And he said, I'm getting arrested for that. He said, she was distressed. Could you believe that? Callum. They plan to take Pakistan's nuclear program, and that didn't work. Fools. No, that's why Israel, you see, Israel are trying to get in with Pakistan because of their nuclear arms. But anyway, there's all skullduggery going on all the time, Callum. All skullduggery, believe you me. It's nuts. It is, it's absolute nuts. So you see, it's the way everything's gone, and this is just an opinion of mine, the way everything has gone and going all over the place, you're not getting told the truth. You're really not. And I always remember a quote by Huxley, Aldous Huxley, some American, philosopher, as they say. And he said, the trouble with fiction is that it makes too much sense. Reality never makes sense. Think about that. The trouble with fiction is that it makes too much sense. Reality never makes sense. And it's only what I said before, what Leo Tolstoy said. The truth would be a wonderful thing if it was true. Think about that. Because people spin the truth and it becomes fiction, and people start believing the fiction. They just believe it. This is why you've got a lot of problems today. Honestly. You've got a hell of a lot of problems. And Callum says, notice how most Israelis look like Dom Sabozlai. And Callum comes out with a cracking comment there, actually. Arab Jews, Arab Muslims and Arab Christians all lived in peace before 1920. It's incredible, isn't it, the way, you know, people perceive, like, fact and fiction, if you know what I mean. Fact and fiction. You see, I've always said about, um, you know, great philosophers, great writers. And one of my favourite quotes is by Jean-Jacques Rousseau in 1794. No, it wasn't. It was 1774. When he said, "Man is born free. However, he is everywhere in chains." And that applies to today. You can't break away from the state. You can't say fucking bacon, for God's sake. You can't say muppet. It's absolutely ridiculous. And as you know, I don't know whether you know about geopolitics or anything, because everything's about resources. You've only got to look at America now and soft lad Trump. He's got his fleet on the off the Venezuelan coast because he wants the oil and the gold mines and the precious stone mines. Because believe it or not, Venezuela has more oil than Saudi Arabia. Let that sink in. And I always remember Voltaire. Voltaire came out with a great quote: "The comfort of the rich depends upon an abundant supply of the poor." Don't forget, the comfort of the rich depends upon the abundant supply of the poor. Who fights wars? The poor. The poor fight the wars. And what does Oscar Wilde say? Hey, you know, when you're thinking about the rich and all these oligarchs and these neo-cons, all these people, these deep state people, it's only what Voltaire said. They are the comfort of the rich, and they manipulate the poor because they're in abundance. The poor. So they manipulate the poor. And Oscar Wilde, he said, which sums up everything in my opinion, everything, Oscar Wilde. He said, patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. Think about that. And you go back to Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Man is born free, however, he is everywhere in chains because you're chained to the state. Look at William Blake and his poem, London, where it says, as the hapless soldier sighs as blood runs down palace walls, and the blackening church appalls. Think about that. Think about that. So he's brought in the church, the state, the blood of the soldier to fight for you know who. And he was brought up for sedition for that. Brought up for sedition. Treachery. Big way. Now it's just Jewish Zionist settlers who they spit at us, don't they? Well, Christians and Muslims. The settlers led by that voice, that woman. I really think that the Jewish people, they're not all bad, you know, because what's suppressed by the government, Netanyahu's government, are the people demonstrating against what's going on. But unfortunately, I think it's 80% agree. 80% or more agree with what Netanyahu's doing. And I think people, when all this is over, they're just going to look at Israel and I've got to say it, haven't I? The Jewish brethren in a different light. I really do. And Simon says to Callum, there's no need for that. That was, what has footballers' appearance got to do with Israelis? What is the purpose of saying such a stupid thing? Come on, lad. Says. But the thing is, Simon, I don't know when you've come in because you haven't been on for a while. And it's, if you agree with what we were saying before, what's Israel got to do with European football? What has it got to do with it? You know, the Champions League, they're not even in Europe. You've only got to look what's going on in Gaza. Is Russia there? Is Russia in it? Russia's been banned from fucking everything. Everything. And yet Israel are alright playing. And fucking going to the Olympics and everything. Tossing over and doing all these wonderful things in sport. Russia can't do it. They've been banned. Because they're the baddies. So, you know, you can't just like fucking pick there, mate. I'm sorry. You can't just pick and choose and say, oh, you know, what's that got to do with it? Should have been in the conversation before. And CJ says, Trump is cleaning up Trump is cleaning up the crime in big cities, USA. There's a reason Chicago is known as Chirac. Well, you're getting to see what you know. I get myself into trouble, and I fucking don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm just an ordinary fella who does a podcast and talks about everything, and even talk about literature and poetry but when something comes up, you've got to answer it. You have to, whether you agree or disagree. If you know what I mean. And I can tell you, there's a place here in Liverpool that was known as Little Marmaris. Now, I used to drink in Little Marmaris before it was known as Little Marmaris. So you see the way things get called, certain things. We had a Little Italy, but Little Italy was great. It was great because what they brought was cuisine, gelato. They brought all of it. They brought the pasta. They even brought the pizza and music. But you have different cultures who don't bring nothing. I'm not interested. So you see CJ, and Trump is doing the right thing, but he's doing the fucking wrong thing, because in the meantime, he's after a Nobel Peace Prize, which he should never get. Because what he's doing, he's still supplying, like we are, we're all complicit in it, supplying arms to a certain country that's bombing certain defenceless people. I seen a photograph today. I don't go on YouTube, on Facebook. I very rarely go on it. And I seen a lad. He must have been about 14, 15, 16, something like that. Sitting on a bed, holding a pair of football boots. I don't know if anyone's seen it. He's holding his football boots, looking at them. And he had no legs. No legs, blown off. Did anyone else see it? I did. And I was going to I couldn't comment. I was looking at it for half an hour. I can't fucking comment on that. I kept myself, but it did in the end. I said, this hasn't only been going on for the last couple of years. This has been going on since 1948, for decades. Anyway, Callum says, CJ, it's like that because of Western imperialism. The Middle East isn't safe because of its white supreme entity known as Israel. And Michael J says, chill, Simon. I know, Brian. Frank, me and Ian Kelly have got something in common. I used to be a male stripper. The thing is, I only got booked one. I like that. I like that. I always remember a thing that, who was it? Oh, we were playing Celtic and I was in the paddock. I was sitting there, you know, looking up, because you looked up at the paddock, you know, looking up at the thing. Was it, what was his name? Some fucking big left back, or was it the right back? Anyway, one of them who played for Celtic, and Callie tripped him up. Honestly, tripped him up. Callie's never done anything like that in his life, and he tripped him up. And he, wasn't it Archie someone? And he jumped up. Now, Callie was down here and he was up there. He's a fucking big fella. And he looked at him like that. And Callie went, honestly, that's what he did. You know? And he, you know, he just put his head, tapped him on the head. Just tapped Callie on the head and just laughed back. Brilliant it was. And Callum says, Simon, what are you on about? It's true, mostly because Israelis are Hungarian, Ukraine, Polish, etc. And the boss comes out, even an FC and all. Apparently, Fenway told Arnie's not. They will wait for, Dewey, even if Palace agree he can go in January. I still feel that Gerald should have been kept. Leone untested here. Yeah. But that was in the plans to get Gay, wasn't it? Really. David, you never sent me anything. Even if Frank and people just popping in for 15 minutes, have some work. You never sent me anything, prices or anything. George Scott, #1. Very nice. How are you keeping, mate? This is our Russian friend. Hi, Frank, watching from the bleachers. All right. All right. I can't get your name. I'll call you Ivan. Or Sergey. I like Sergey. Sergey Lavrov. From the bleachers. All right. I'm all right. All right to you back. Good evening, Frankie and chat says the Anfield Roar. He was watching the England game. He's sitting there with his England shirt on the couch with a couple of cans of beer. Evening, Raw. Where have you been? Hey. And where's the other fella, Red Bears? You haven't seen him either. I hope he's okay, to be honest. Hope there's nothing wrong with him. Really, I mean that. You know the score. You know the score. Back to footy, Ebu not being reliable since the talk started about a possible transfer. If his head is somewhere else, maybe his body should go too. LFC should still be able to spend 20 million in January. I got me new... What happened there? Did I do anything? I've gone little again. What's going on there? Have I done anything there? No, I can't have. I couldn't have. Let's see. Come back again to normal. You wouldn't see that, you see. I did. I went to little. I got me new kit. I got me new kit shirt today. What's he saying the other day? 11:15 in a night after a night out. I'm like a big kid. My wife said got Isak #9 on it from our club shop. I cannot wait for this international window to close and we can get back to club window. Yes, I think everybody agrees with you. And Fenway have recouped more than half of the outlay from this, with 22 youth and senior players removed from the wage book. Shouldn't risk going all season without a full defensive cover, but you know. I know. Yeah, he'll be there unless he gives their kid and his dad his ticket. Because he's a good lad, you see. There's our Raw. And Steve, I remember watching the European Super Cup final against Anderlecht at Anfield, and you couldn't see anything due to thick fog. That was the time, wasn't it, when we were shouting, "Did any score yet?" Yeah, yeah. And I remember playing Ajax as well over there. I wasn't there, like, but and couldn't see anything. And Shanks said to me, "It was a travesty of justice. We played in red and we couldn't see each other. They played white. Travesty of justice," the Shanks said. The Anfield. Callum, I think it's my go for away day. Burnley will be my first time, but I haven't been well. So if I have the strength, I'll go. If not, my dad, with our care. Told you that, didn't I? He ends up going. He ends up watching me on watch along. All right. 4-0 win Sunday, says Callum. I'll take a clean 2-0 and entertaining play that clicks. I feel Vert's account may open in this match. And he agrees with you. The Anfield. I just like to see Kirkes get over the halfway line after a really good but difficult start to it. I thought he was one of the men of the match against Arsenal. He was great, that lad. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It was all Kirkes. And Anthony, looking and sounds in great flight. Thank you, Anthony. And there's a scotch for me. And is that a birthday cake as well? Bit of cake for me as well. Yeah. Oh, coffee. It's a coffee. I thought it was a bit of a cake. How funny. See you tomorrow night, Anthony. Rory Gray probably because it's been against our teams earlier in the season, so I'd expect he went forward. I think he has to. Don't forget, he gets he gets told what to do. You know, if he can't go too far up, he's told not to go too far up. You've got to understand that. They're the tactics. And the allure says, Callum, I feel I'm watching a lad now that Sir Bosley may make the team of the season in the Prem this year. He is on fire. Raw, our right back. But will he keep him there? Because I think he's brilliant with Gravenberch as a double pivot. Double pivot. David's worse. Evening again. Evening safe. But you never heard what I said. Where is... I wasn't going to have a football show tonight. Said that when I came on because I didn't know where England were playing. Ended up talking about Bacon, Muppets, Trump, everyone. Everything we were talking about. And football came up. And you also says to Callum, well, for Hungary, he is literally 80% Stevie J. Callum, you see the third kit reveal when you go and Macca and Robbo. I don't want Robbo to be playing. Sorry, mate, but you might think Robbo's great. Robbo's been finished for 2 years. That's just me. He's slow, turns his back. He's had his time at Liverpool, I'm afraid. FC, recall you asked for top 5 films. I came up with about 50. Choosing our top 5 players is harder. My choice, my Emlyn, Stevie, Kenny, Souness, Barnes. Well, I wouldn't pick Barnes. You know, great player as he was, but he did a thing against what we all are, and he reviewed the Sun one Saturday. I don't know, was it a Saturday? No, weekday. On that fucking show, you know, used to be Good Morning, whatever. Not girls, there was some fella. Fucking reviewing the Sun. And I went, fuck you. Fucking new. So, no, not for me, Barnesy. You might think I'm a stickler, but I stick to my principles. I really do. Frankie, bang on about Venezuela. 303 billion barrels estimated more than Saudi's 267 billion barrels. How come Venezuela isn't making money? I'll tell you for why, because they've been fucking sanctioned, Anfield. They've been sanctioned by America. America sanctions everybody. This is why they put a $50 million bounty on the head of Maduro. But they tried to do it to Russia, backfired badly. Sanctions. And you've got that, I sold Lindsey Graham, what, 500% tariffs. Trump's a puppet. You've got to understand that. There's someone behind him, like there always are against presidents, American presidents. There's always someone behind them. Like here in this country. When Thatcher was booted out, remember, the men in grey went for it. And they were told by someone up there, go and get it out now. You've only got to look at the American policy. And they help Israel. And I showed a map before. And if you would have seen that map, you would have understood about, it's not there anymore, it's gone. Can't get it up. And what it was, the Greater Israel, and what they set out to do in 1948, albeit that there was a little weeny strip of them begging, the heckin' begging. And he was known as a terrorist by the British. And him and his mates hanged 3 British sergeants from lampposts. Did you know that? That begging fella. And Thatcher welcomed him to 10 Downing Street. Years later. It's just like what fucking Trump's done with this fella, El Jawani, made him president of Syria. Because they know that they can get rid of him he had a 10 million bounty on his head as well. $10 million by the Americans, yet they made him. And people say, well, why have they done that? Because he's a puppet. And it's so that Israel could go in. And they'll just chase him. He was a former ISIS. And what does ISIS stand for? Besides chopping heads off and shooting people in the head. I seen a woman. It was while ISIS was going. And I seen a woman. And she was pulled in the middle of it like a square or a street. Yeah, it's just a street. And people all gathered around wondering what. And you see this fella, and he made her kneel down. And he's shouting whatever he's fucking shouting. And he shoots her in the head. Just pulls a gun out and fucking shoots her in the head. Do you know why? You know why? Because she wore a red body warmer. Because it was fucking cold. And she was wearing a bright red body warmer. And he shot her in the head. This is what they're like. And this is what, as I said before, Islam is an ideology. It's a belief. And it's people are worried in this country about their ideology coming here and taking a stance. Do you ever remember that Abu Hamza and Chowdhury? Abu Hamza, why didn't he get arrested here? Because of hate speech. And he wasn't, was he? The fucking Yanks arrested him. And he's in jail in America. Why didn't he arrest him here? Why did they allow the Americans to arrest him? So you've got to think, well, why that? Because I always wondered. Do you ever remember Chowdhury? And people were scared. Get him off the fucking, put him in jail. He was horrible. And he put him, I don't know whether he's still in jail now or what, I don't know. And he said, we won't rest until Islam flag is flying over number 10. That's what he said. I just don't know anymore. I fucking don't, you know. I don't know what's going on. Patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel, attributed to Samuel Johnson, says Sergei. He also said, Dr. Johnson, he said, if you're tired of London, you're tired of life. He said that. And I'll never forget what another philosopher said, Thomas Hobbes. Was it 1640 or something like that? No, it wasn't. Was it after the I'm not quite so sure whether it was before or after the Civil War. And he said, man is nasty, brutish and short, meaning the nasty people and the brutish with it. And they've got short tempers. And who goes and gets sent to the front? The poor, as I mentioned before. And as I said, what Oscar Wilde said, patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. Callum says they're trying to annex the West Bank and make it a full, is it? Of course they are. That's what they're doing. That's why I showed you the you know, the Israel, you know, the greater Israel. They wanted to, look, suppose we could, you know, all us here now, suppose this was a time machine and we went 150 years ahead and we looked at a map of the Middle East. What would you find? What would you find in the Middle East? Well, you wouldn't find lots of countries. These have all been swallowed up and they've gone. That's the way it is. That's the way it's gone. And the way it's going. And Simon, that men do not learn very much from the lessons of history. From the lessons of history is the most important of all the lessons that history has to teach. It's the old adage, isn't it? We never learn. But it's all right saying we never learn when it's too late. When it's too late. It's too late, as I mentioned, for that kid who was sitting on a fucking bed, holding his football boots, with no legs, because his legs were blown off. Who blew them off? And Brian says, used to be a lovely Italian city called Bella Pasta. Always went to it. What do you mean? Used to be a lovely Italian in the city. Our city, or your city, called Bella Pasta. Always went to it. Stephen Holland, my old mate. I sent you a reply, by the way, email. Fucking kill it. I can't write. With me little thingy here. Kills me. Hi Frank, I watched the Merseyside derby during the weekend through. It was very entertaining despite a 1-4 result. A 1-4 result. All right, Dave. All right, mate. I wish you would have sent me the fucking list. People have been asking. More interesting game than watching England. England. Steve Evans will be watching it. Steve. Came on before, I'll go on before the match starts. Oh, fuck off. Frank has to chat. Does anyone know when the squad photo comes out? Can't wait to see it with the Prem in it. Says Brian. I think you've just asked them. I haven't a clue. How can it dry, you know? I'd say to be in the desert. All right, David. Do that. Me and the man himself. Kenny Dalglish. Kenny. That's a great night, that night. Brian says Vets needs to stop walking when he receives the ball. Jones shows him how to do it. Turn quick and move forward. Good shout, that. There are not many people who agree with you. I agree, though. And Simon says, Frank confused. What has Israel football in the UEFA got to do with comments saying Israelis looking like Sabozla? Mind-boggling. If that causes offence, can't help on that one, sorry. It's just like, I don't know. I'm not even answering that, to be honest. I don't think he just says it. They all look like Sabozla. They're all dark and black hair, and Sabozla is great. Most probably. A cup of tea and a slice of cake, says Michael. Yeah. I'd love that. Well said, Frank, says David Wested. Say, fucking Darryl's there. He said, I don't know what I was going to say. I bet you any money Darryl will come on. He's been watching fucking England. I've just seen his name there, cropping up. Been watching England. I'd like to know why successive governments, especially the present one in brackets, are out to destroy the UK, letting in unvetted illegals. I can't get my head around it. No one can. No one can, Toscana. I want me and my family to be sent back to Italy. And they go, but your name's Carlyle. I go, yeah, but me mum's name, Angelina Maria Yolanda Valenti. Oh, okay then. Frankie says that. Saying you've been watching the match, haven't you? Roston says, hey Frank, hiya Roston. You gone to bed yet, mate? How's school? I hope school's great for you. Keep learning. Keep learning. Keep learning, Austin. And Simon Tatuska, I'm watching The Rise of the Nazis Series 3, and we not learn from that either. I grow up with conflict over 30 years, and it stays with you the rest of it's the victim's forgotten. What you had about you can't say fucking Jews anymore. You've got to put us in it like a nice terminology, but that's what they are. Like, I'm a Catholic, so I'll get called a Catholic, or a Roman Catholic, or saint. But you can't say Jews. You have to say like Jewish brethren or something like that. But Jewish brethren, to be honest, every year, what do they do? Every single year, what do they do? Because they own the media, they own everything. They make films, documentaries, everything, and it's about the Holocaust. And we never forget that. We don't need to forget it, if you know what I mean. I mean, need to be reminded because we know all about it. And it's in the history books. But what's going on today is the same. It's the same. Just imagine, I'm just saying this, I'm being hypothetical. Just imagine if Germany was doing it to these people. What would happen? They'd be fucking murder. There'd be troops in there. They'd be up in The Hague. War crimes. You see what I mean? And no one's lifting a finger. No one. Unfortunately. Look at this one here, look. He said, I haven't been watching the match. I've been watching Brookside. That's worse. What are you like? That's a cracker, that. And Simon, so when I see what goes on in Gaza and Ukraine, I can relate to never knowing what may happen tomorrow. Would my dad come home tonight looking over your shoulder? It's sad, but for many, a reality of war. Of course. Of course. My dad was nearly killed 4 times. 4 times. The war, he was in the SBS, Special Boat Service. Trying to blow up submarines and big battleships. And he was nearly killed twice. Very lucky. During the war. And I said at the time, a couple of months ago in May, that he would have been spinning in his grave by seeing Ukrainian soldiers marching in our victory parade. Who were we fighting? We were fighting Nazis. We were fighting the Banderites. Who's Nazis? They were Nazis. I'm still doing it today. They got them fucking walking. Fuck's sake. Well, I know that anyway. Whether no one else knows it, I fucking know it. I love my Brucchi Francolini. I think he needs a good talking to be honest, Daryl. When I was a child, says my old mate David, I asked my teachers, why did the normal people not stop the war? They said they could not, as the rulers wanted it. Nothing has changed. There's a lot of money to be made in the arms industry. But the sophistication now of arms is phenomenal. Because what comes in is these like superpower ballista. Trump was hilarious, wasn't he, when he went like that? He realised what Russia has. Like these Mach 7 ballistic missiles that cannot be shot down. Cannot be shot down. And he said, Obama gave the secrets to... Fucking joke. Obama gave the secrets to Russia. That's who's in power now. A fucking man like him. Obama gave the secrets. And that's the show. But why don't you fucking make them? Someone said, well, why don't you make them then? Why haven't you made any? If he's give the secrets, they must have copies of it. This is These Americans for you. Get on YouTube, just search it, and these are ordinary Americans, right? Clueless Americans, and people have been asked, and people tell stories, you know, just there and read them. They don't fucking believe about what the Americans think. Is London and England two different countries? London and England, two different countries. Who's the president of London? Okay, no. And I said this years ago. I brought my students down to see Kenneth Branagh in Stratford-upon-Avon. So anyway, went down, and before we went in to see it, you know, Hamlet, he was in Hamlet. So we were walking around, and I said, I wonder where he lived. You know, the streets got beautiful down there. So I went into this shop, me and this student. And as I was standing there was a lady at the counter, and she was talking to the young girl behind the counter. And she was saying, she was an American. And she said, can you just give me the directions again, please? And she went, well, when you go out here, do a right. And he went, no, I didn't know what she was talking about. Give me directions, you know. Could have been to the theatre, could have been anywhere. So anyway, I just went up to her. I said, have you got any little maps? I said, you know, around where Shakespeare and Hathaway lived. And she said, yes, sure. So she got this, honestly, she got this map out. Only a little booklet thing, you know, that you fold over. And I went, oh, that's great now. And then the ring went, you know, the door of the shop. And the American asked, the same American who was in there first, and asking directions. And she was asking directions too, where Shakespeare lived. And you're not going to believe what she said. Excuse me, honey, will Will be home this time? I'd like to take a photograph. Will Will be home? I'd like to take a photograph. And I'm going back fucking years ago. Like Frank and chat, I fell asleep, just woke up. They're all worrying about you, Scottish. All worrying about you, mate. Every single one of us. Everyone. Including Sergei Lavrov. There you fell asleep watching Frankie. You're saying Frankie boring. Most probably. Channel, most probably. And Simon's clear. Frank, you just given 42 billion to Chagos with the vote in the... You're kidding me. Fucking hell. We signed a 100-year contract. Agreement, not a contract. Might as well say it was. For 100 years to give £5 billion to Ukraine every year. And yet there are 2.3 or 4 million now children below the poverty line in this country. What can you say? What can you say? And it's sad. Oh, 40 billion. Fuck. Daryl, you okay, bro? Is the blood clot under control? Yep, mate. Disappeared under my fat. Daryl. No, I'll just jump on. I'll crashed out about 6 p.m. And Simon, sorry Frank, I'm angry tonight after year, conflict after conflict, some closer to home than others. And I understand Toscana's anger. Most Brits are ignorant and happy as long as it doesn't impact. But it does. I understand that. Honestly, I said this millions of times. And you've heard me saying it. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, do you know what? I said, I just know things. And I'm sorry that I do know them and know about them. And I said, I just wish I didn't know sometimes. And it's the old adage, isn't it? Or cliche. Ignorance is bliss, and it is. Because they haven't a clue. And I've always said this as well, about how fiction comes about. When you see me scratching, this thing comes out on me, it comes all over me. You see me doing that, it comes here and all over. And in my scalp and everything, just me head though. Just me head. Just break out in it. It's horrible. Anyway, I said about ignorance being bliss. And it is, you've got to understand that fiction comes from reality. But it's coming, the fiction is coming today. The reality's what's going on is spun. And it spins that much that the truth is there. It's there. And the reality starts to become fiction. And then it's printed and said on the telly. And people believe it. So the truth becomes fiction after the spin. I've said that for many years, not just now. Not just because of now. Even when you have, even going back to when Thatcher fought the unions and fought us and fought a council down in London, closing them down. She said, we'll fight the unions, we'll fight the power workers, which were the miners. Get to Yorkshire, shut them down. Shut that Scargill down. Get to Liverpool. We'll manage decline that. And it was Lambeth Council. They said, but we can't leave London alone. So we'll go to Lambeth Council. Now, Lambeth Council was a staunch Labour thing, not Tories. And they fucking chased everybody out because it was in a nice area. But all working classes were living there. So they all got moved, and all the rich started buying up. You know, these landlords started buying up the properties and doing them out. That's what she did. And she managed to decline us. People say she never, you know, oh, well, I wasn't managed. Of course it was. Theresa Gorman, 1992, says we should build a wall around Liverpool to see how they used to live. You know, future generations to see how they used to live. Our city, and us, me, you and everyone, us Scousers. Theresa Gorman, Tory MP, Thatcherite lover. And I've just heard tonight as well about Boris Johnson. Why do you think he went to Kiev and said to Zelensky, the puppet, the corrupt puppet, don't sign that sheet, don't sign it. Fight them instead. So he never signed the peace agreement. And this is what's going on today. And it's come out tonight that he was going around to people, these billionaires and countries as well. It's in the Guardian, if you want to know. If you get a grip of that Guardian, I knew the people he was approaching for minerals to make lots of money in Ukraine. It's been found out. Johnson, horrible man. And don't forget, Simon, we were on the precipice of a nuclear war a couple of months ago. Remember? That much close. David Western says the people of the good old US of A think us as a second-class burnt bumpkins. Trump looks at us as a big aircraft carrier. Tell you who else looks at us as a big aircraft carrier. Reagan in the 80s, when he said to Thatcher, can I send my, because you know the base is here. He said, I want to send planes over to Libya and I want to bomb Gaddafi. We know where he is. And she said, yeah, okay. Never got him, like. So we were used as an aircraft carrier then, always have been. Fuck. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet, and subscribe if you're new to Frank's channel. Thanks, says the Scottish Bear. Thank you, Bear. You're awake now. Big up Scottish Bear, says Edward. Big up, no. Edward, lad, good to see you. See, you been watching the fucking match, have you? Or have you been watching Brookie with Darryl? I've been watching the match, I've been watching Brookie. Darryl. Evening, Frank, just know from work, hope you have caught up on sleep. Yeah, do you know what? Has anybody ever been asleep and they don't know they've been asleep? I know it sounds I was saying this to Francine today, I was chatting to her. I went to bed early because I was absolutely shattered last night. Went to bed, put the telly on. Don't know how long I was watching the telly. It wasn't long. I just turned it off, just went to sleep. And the next, honestly, I woke up at 4 o'clock. So I must have gone to sleep around midnight or something, because I went to bed at 11:30. And woke up and I went, oh no. Because I always wake up at 4 o'clock. Every time. Don't know why. So anyway, I'm lying there and I went, oh no. Oh, I'd love to go back asleep, just a few more hours. So anyway, then, as you do, you're lying there and you close your eyes. But I didn't know I was asleep and I woke up. My eyes come up like that and I went, I said, it's lighty. And when I looked, it was 8 o'clock. Couldn't believe it. I didn't know I was asleep. I thought I was still awake because when I opened my eyes, I was seeing it. I said, oh, please let me go to sleep. So I had a decent sleep. The last 4 hours I didn't know I had to sleep. I thought I was still awake, just lying there. Fucking hell, I'm cracking up. But thank you for that too. Very mean. Thanks, Bear, you too, says Edward. And Simon, unfortunately, we are all to blame in this country, maybe with compulsory voting, a proper education system, where we show no fear or favour to learn about our hit. And beyond, perhaps, we would do better. The thing is, when we go to school, as a little mad kid and going to school and you're learning, at least, you're learning to read and write and add up and take away, the old thing, the old system. And then when you start reading like little books and things, it's great. And singing little songs. Cherry ripe, I'll never forget cherry ripe, come and buy. So, used to sing that, used to be made up. Mind you, we were only 17 then, cherry ripe. So, but as you get older, then you start looking, and when the history comes in, you're getting taught about kings and queens. Kings and queens. And a little bit about, try and read, honestly, fucking hell. Try and read Charlotte Bronte's, I couldn't think of it, Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre and what she wanted to do. It's a semi-autobiography, really, of Charlotte Bronte and Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre, just read it, what she wanted to do for kids. You've only got to look at a historical person in our city called Kitty Wilkinson, an Irish lady, one of the greatest philanthropists. And she opened a school to teach kids. Jane Eyre wanted to do the same because there was no education here. So by the time the Forster Act of 1870 came about, that children had to go to school, but it wasn't made compulsory until the Mandela Act of 1880 that they had to go to school. And then, but the school was shocking. I was only talking to a lady yesterday, lives on my block, she's retired now, and an ex-teacher. And we were talking about the education system, going back when we were younger, when we were kids at school. And what it was, I was in a city school. And I said to this lady, I said, when you grow up and you grow out of it, and you know, you start to go into the profession yourself, you realise that these people who came into it in a city school had no time for us. They just went in to get their wages, their money, because they were all middle class. They weren't worried. The city around here, it's terrible. Honestly, I can itchy and everywhere. I got itchy eyeballs once. My eyeballs. So the education system, unless you, I don't like saying this, but I have to, unless you get to a grammar school and then onto uni. Or as when we were kids, passing the 11 plus. So, you know, and when you get to higher education, as you know, it's totally different. Well, in college it's totally different as well for me. Then you go on to uni and do what you have to do there, no matter how long you're going in for. Like my daughter Francine, she's going back to university to do a master's on psychology. She starts this month. And Daryl. Team for Sunday: Alisson, Szoboszlai, Canate, Virgil, Kerkez, Gravenberch, Jones. Oh, Jones. Vert, Salah, Ekatike, Gapco. But what about Isak? Might be fit. Mind you, I'd go along with that myself. How is it possible to give 42 billion when the sodden country is bankrupt? I no longer understand what's going on anymore, says T. Neither do I. That shocked me, that. What Simon said. I think you'll all have to join me on Friday with the current affairs programme. I will really go to town on everything. You really have to go to town. I'll find out more about Boris Johnson as well. What that Sly Boots was up to. It's just shocking what's going on. It really is. See, I can't really say too much. I'll get myself into trouble. I'm definitely not calling anyone a muppet. Get myself nicked. Well, these are all said we were all just stressed. All just stressed. And that Frank called us muppets. I'll be nicked. And he says he loves bacon butties. Oh. Fucking years. Daryl Isak won't start. He will be on the bench for a few weeks. Yeah. I think he will come on. Though, you know, they will give him a few minutes. Come on, get a quick hat-trick and take him off again. And Stefan stopping by to say good night, Frank and friends, from Daniela and I. A wink to the other two Italians, Frankie's angels, Toscana and Bella. Oh. I don't know what happened to her ambidextrous side. She was on before. At the beginning. Maybe she's watching the match. Toscana. Simon, LFC, right? I've spoken to too many people with their heads in the sand and can't see a problem. Nice house and good pension, and that's good enough for them. They think Starmer's doing a good. He's only 13%, isn't it? Was it? Or is he less than that? Approval ratings, or is that Macron? One of the two, anyway. They're the worst leaders in Europe. Rated. Jesus Christ, this fucking thing. I'm sorry, I'll have to finish. I'm awfully sorry. Every time I come in here, just stop. Okay, now. It's so itchy. Oh, my nose. My nose. Simon, to tea. I am just baffled, disgusted how this money can come from nowhere, but the magic money tree appears in November. Ultimately, it's the ordinary Joe who will pay the price. Yes. Yes. Buonanotte, Stephen. Hey, Danielle. Says Toscana. Good night, Step, says Bella. And the Scottish Bear. TV is the greatest brainwashing tool yet. Rinse and repeat. The brain is a computer process with storage. That's a cracker, that. That is a cracking comment. Rinse and repeat. You see lots and lots of things, to be honest, that are honestly, you see I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Oh yeah, this message just come up. So Boris Johnson is probably corrupt. What took them so long to find that out? So this is what I've been saying about. What I've been saying about what I heard today about all these minerals, and that's why he wanted the war to go on instead of peace, and he would have been 1.7 million Ukrainian young lads alive today. But the fucking pain's back now on my left elbow. Oh, fuck. Simon to Tusk, I agree with you, and Frank is right. The majority of the mainstream media follow the line. Why? Because it keeps their palms nice and greasy. All started with Campbell and Mandelson, the masters of spin. Brilliant. They were the masters of spin. But I seen right through them. And I'm a Labour voter. Well, I was. And I seen right through them. Because they protected their leader, Blair. They protected him. Big style. Do you know what I want to know as well? That Reeves, not Reeves, what's her name, Rachel, is it Rachel Reeves? She's just resigned. Isn't it? Oh, she worth 5 million quid. She was penniless, living in a little council house. Living in a council house. And she's worth 5 million quid today. Ow. Ow. So where's the corruption here? Good shout, Simon, about brilliant shouts actually, Campbell and Mandelson. Alistair Campbell and Mandelson. Powerful. Powerful. They were the spin masters, as you. Stefan. The choice for mankind lies between freedom and happiness, and for the great bulk of mankind, happiness is better. It's 1984, yeah. George Orwell. Frank, on a lighter note, I've had a couple of cans of mild beer. You're in the shed, that's why Sue's threw you in the shed. Oh, Bella. Buonanotte, Franco. Grazie, everybody, for a great night. Per grande notto. Yes. Buonanotte. Bella. Anyway, I've come off my soap evening goal. Sorry if I deviated your usual. No, you never, because everything was getting mentioned. You didn't, Simon. The world is certainly in a perilous place. Perhaps the less we know, the better. Take care, all. As I said before, you know, ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Buonanotte, says Toscana, the Bella. It's sad that some people speak a lot but say nothing. Where's my cake? I'm going to eat it. That's a cracker, that. Where's my cake? Love it. Love it. Toscana to Simon. I do photography and paint to switch off from it. Otherwise, I'd go mad. I watch science fiction films and horror films to switch off. And, don't laugh, romantic films. Romantic films. I'm a big romantic person. Hi Frank, sorry I'm late. Did you see the video, yes, of Virgil and the boys looking at 90s retro memorabilia? No, Freedom Journey. No, mate, never seen it. That's it. Angela Rayner. Well, watch this space. She will be back on top of the tree. In 18 months, Starmer will be gone, and the party will want her back for the big night showdown. The big night showdown. Shocking. I want to know where she got a 5 million from. I am making things, mate, says David. Oh, that's good. Well, don't forget to send me those prices so I can tell people about them. All the reds. Toscana, do you mean Angela Rayner, the one who used their disabled son's money? Yeah. What a piece of work she is. I'd like to know why she's not getting prosecuted. I know trusts. I know how trusts work from personal experience. That's true, that. That's a cracking comment, Toscana. Because you do know. Because you do have the experience. If I do it, if you do it, if any of the lads and girls on here would do it, we'll all be in jail. We'll all be arrested and waiting. So if Bacon and Muppet is to go by, she fraudulently done the taxes in. I always remember one of the greatest jockeys, and the Queen loved him as well. The Queen loved him, and he went to jail for the tax evasion, and that was Lester Piggott, and he had his knighthood taken off him. Not after I. Maybe it's in here. Gotta get itchy. Well, it is. Get itchy in here. And Michael J. You went from A to Z tonight, Frank, and I'm impressed. A great show and very interesting. Well done. Thank you, Michael J. Give a grazie. Thank you. As I said when I first go on, I said, everyone's watching football. Talk what you want to. Just say what you want to say. And this is how it went. It went all screw with, you know, from everything. As you know, you've been on it all night. And Simon to Toscana, the front bench is all rotten. They are a total disgrace. But did you know she resigned, not sacked, to get her payoff? Yeah. Yeah. That's a good shout, that as well. Cheers, mate. Speak on tomorrow. Good night, all. You'll never walk alone, says David Weston, me little mate. And Simon, Frank, I think your Friday show is going to have fireworks. Sad thing that comes out of this, who truly, in caps, represents the working man now, when those who do are no better than the likes of Bojo. Couldn't put it better myself. Couldn't put it better myself. And on that note, I'll say to Johan, that's it. Going now. Johan, he's been watching the match. He's been watching it. He's a big England fan. Been sitting there on the chair or on the couch with his big flag around him. England. There's Johan. Good evening, Frank and legends, and apologies I'm late. Just got home from my grandpa. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thought you was watching England on the couch. We'll be replaying the stream to see what I missed. Can already say it was a great show from the comms. Do you know what? I just said I'm not talking football tonight because everybody will be watching England. So I said, talk what you want about. You know, just say what you want, and we'll just go from there. It's everything's been mentioned. I even said at the beginning, can you hear me? But everything sound loud. Johan, everything. And so, fucking hell, Why can't we say it? Why can't I say that stupid name? Gehi. 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 Scored 4-0 to the England. It finished 5-0, says you, sir. Couldn't give a honest. Don't you dare say I was watching England. Gay. Thank you. I remember Toscana, someone, or Bella Natalia said it. I think it was Toscana. She said, "This is how you say it, gay, gay, just like you, gay." I thought you were saying I was gay, gay. Grazie Franco and chat. It was a great evening with a mixed bag of subjects and always interesting to read other. Yeah, that's why I like, because you're all part of it. It's not me, it's you, it's everyone on here. Ah, they scored a 4 today, but only 2 versus Andorra. Sorry, 5. She got me mixed up. Well, anyway, I'm off to get St. George's flag out. And don't put on it, I like bacon, you muppets. There's no laptops in jail, I don't think, anyway. You won't be able to comment. Listen, people, I've got the history of English literature tomorrow if you want to join me, if you're doing nothing. Unless you're watching more matches. So I've got that tomorrow. And it should be good. It should be good. Got the big map to show. And on that wonderful note, on the England's win, I'll say good night. I'll say buonanotte. Ci vediamo. A domani. A domani. See you tomorrow. Bye now. Ciao, Bella.